In this video, I'm looking at taking this data here, which is the total revenue from selling different number of tickets for chamber music concerts, and putting them on a scatter plot and commenting on the correlation. So now a scatter plot is a graph that basically looks like an XY graph, but all of our points or coordinates are just dots. So that's what we're trying to create with this data. So we're going to want to plot each of these as a set of XY coordinates on an XY plane. So the first thing we're going to do is draw up a set of axes. Now, because my vertical axis goes between 3,600 and 11,000, I'm going to make sure I've got plenty of space on the vertical, and then create a slightly straighter horizontal axis. See if we can try that again. There we go, that's better. Okay, so my horizontal axis goes from 200 to 500, and it seems to go up in 50, so I'm going to follow that pattern. So we have 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, and 500. So that's as much as we want to go up to. And our vertical axis is 3,600 to 11,000, so we need plenty of space for that. So I'm going to start at 3,500 and go up in 500s just to give me some working space and go up fast enough. So 4,000, 4,500, 5,000, 5,500, 6,000, 6,500, 7,000, start skipping some now, 8,000, 9,000, 9.5, 10,000, 10.5, 11,000. Okay, so we now have our vertical axis. So this is my number of tickets, and this axis is my revenue or dollars. Okay, so then we just take each of our points in turn and plot them on the set of axes. So my first one is 408,000, so I go to 408,000, which is up here. Then 200, 3,600, which is about there. Then I have 458,500, so 458,500, which looks to be about there. 350 to 7,700, so 350, 7,700. We have 250, 5,800, 250, 5,800. 300, 6,000, 300 and 6,000, 500 and 11,000, so it's my big one, so all the way up there. 400, 7,500, so 400, 7,500 there. 350, 6,600, so 350, 6,600, should be about there. And my last one, 250, 5,600, so 250 and 5,600. Okay, so that's my points, put it on the graph. So the last part was to comment on any correlation. So, well, this is my scatter plot, and now the last thing we want to do is talk about correlation. So there's a few things with correlation. Basically, if the points are nice and close together and you can see the fact they form a pattern, we call this strong. If they are a bit more spread out, but you can still see that there's sort of a line going on there, we call this weak or weaker. And if they just look like a whole bunch of points scattered around the graph, you can't really see anything, there is no correlation there at all. So that's what the kind of things we're wanting to look at. And these points are reasonably close together, so we can sort of see that they're quite close together, they're forming a line, and in fact if we try and sort of think about putting a line through it, then they sort of sit reasonably close to that line. So I'm going to call this strong correlation. So this has a strong correlation. And that makes sense when you think about the actual situation, considering the fact that we have revenue from selling tickets to a concert. So if you sell less tickets, you're going to make less money. Sell more tickets, you're going to make more money. And really, a lot of concerts don't change much in price. So of course, you're going to get a reasonably tight line. So there is a strong correlation between how many tickets you sell and how much money you're going to make, which makes sense. The more people that come to your concert, the more money you're going to make.